If your business is making sales, but you still feel tight on money, this is probably what's missing. Most small business owners are tracking revenue. Very few are tracking gross profit correctly. And gross profit is the number that tells you whether your business actually works, not revenue. Not your bank balance, gross profit. Kevin Weir, your action business coach, helping you achieve your business dreams. And if you want more content like this that will help you grow your business, subscribe below. So, if you do not know what gross profit is, it is the direct cost utilized in producing a product or service. If it's a restaurant, that would be your food, paper, and direct labor. If it's a construction company, it would be the construction materials, direct labor, permitting processes directly tied to the job. That's exactly why I created the gross profit tracker, because after working with hundreds of small business owners, I saw the same problem over and over again. They were busy, they were selling, they were exhausted, but they had no clear visibility into whether the pricing was strong enough or whether their costs were quietly eating them alive. So let me explain what the gross profit tracker actually does. First, it clearly separates revenues from the cost of goods. That sounds basic, but most owners lump expenses together and then wonder why their numbers feel confusing. Your gross profit is revenue minus direct costs, meaning if you don't make the sale, would that cost still exist? If not, it depends on the cost of the goods. When you isolate that number, something powerful happens. You stop guessing. You immediately see whether your pricing supports your business. And here's what most small business owners discover when they start tracking gross profit properly. They don't have a sales problem. They have a margin problem. The gross profit tracker is designed to make that painfully clear in a simple, calm, usable way. No accounting degree required. Inside the tracker, you plug in your monthly revenue, your direct cost, your variable expenses are tied to delivery, and it calculates gross profit margin, percentage breakdowns, because percentages tell the truth. You might think you're doing well because revenue is climbing, but if your gross margin is shrinking, you're building a bigger, heavier machine that pays you less. And that's the trap. Growth without margin creates stress. Margin creates freedom. This tracker helps you see that early. It also helps you make better decisions. Let's say you're thinking about running a promotion. Before you discount, you check your gross margin. If your margin is already thin, discounting is dangerous. If your margin is strong, you have room to move. Or maybe you're thinking about hiring. Instead of asking, do we feel busy? You ask, does our gross profit support payroll? That's a different level of decision making. This is what separates operators from actual business owners. Now, here's something important. This isn't a giant complicated spreadsheet. It's intentionally simple because complicated systems don't get used and unused systems don't change business. You open it once a month, you update the numbers, you review the percentages, that's it. 30 minutes, and the clarity you get from those 30 minutes changes how you price, how you hire, how you market, and how you sleep. I've seen owners realize that they were underpricing by 15%. I've seen others realize they were spending too much on materials and needed new suppliers. I've seen food service businesses discover that food costs were crushing their margin. None of that was visible until they looked at gross profit clearly. And that's the point. Most businesses' stress comes from unclear numbers. When you don't know your margins, everything feels heavy. When you know your margins, decisions feel steady. You stop reacting. You start managing. The gross profit tracker isn't about obsessing over spreadsheets. It's about giving you control. Because once your gross margin is strong, everything else becomes easier. Marketing becomes easier. Hiring becomes easier. Paying yourself becomes easier. Revenue is important, but gross profit is the engine. If the engine isn't strong, the car doesn't matter. So if you're serious about building a business that actually pays you, not just keeps you busy, download the gross profit tracker. Use it for the next 90 days. Track your numbers monthly. Watch the changes. If you've been feeling like your business is working harder than it should, this is probably the missing piece. There's a link below to download the gross profit tracker. Grab it, use it. This tool is originally designed for bakery businesses, but it's adaptable to any business that has significant cost of goods sold. And if you go download it, comment gross profit so that you're taking this seriously. And if this is the kind of practical systems focused breakdown helps you think differently about your business, subscribe. Because small businesses don't need more motivation, they need more clarity. And gross profit is where clarity starts.